when I was younger, I was super mean to myself. And I said
Yep.
all kinds of mean things.
Most of
Things
us
that I'd
are.
never say to a friend or my
Yep.
mom or, terrible things.
Yep. Yep.
Look in the mirror and say mean things. Think mean things. So
Yep.
you're thinking a thought. Can we grab that thought and let's take a look at that thought. Let's test it out a little. Is it true? Is it absolutely true? Where did it come from? Can we rewrite that and now reprogram? I'm not saying so many mean things to myself anymore.
Yes.
It doesn't have any attachment to my worthiness. Helping women, I help them reprogram the thought, making
Yeah.
sure, is it actually true? And can we flip it and reprogram you to not
Yeah.
have attachment to those thoughts anymore?
Yeah. And you literally did that. You flipped that switch for me and you were like, well, what if the opposite were true?
Welcome to Next Level You podcast. I'm Stefanie Dingbaum, your host, your biggest cheerleader, and your go-to girlfriend for real, raw, and uplifting conversations about leveling up in life. As a mental health therapist with over a decade of experience and a business coach helping women elevate their lives and businesses, I'm here to guide you through the mindset shifts, holistic practices, and manifestation tools you need to step into your most authentic, next level self. Whether you're here to ignite your personal growth, elevate your professional game, or simply rediscover you, this podcast is your invitation to dream bigger, go after your goals, and unapologetically claim the life you deserve. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's dive in. It's time to up-level, manifest, and glow.
Welcome back to Next Level You podcast. Hello, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I have a really special guest here with me today. I have Morgan Barkus. You guys, I met Morgan through the MCM program, so the mastermind that I'm doing right now with Lori and Chris Harder. And as you know, I brought on a ton of guests of other experts that are also going through the program, Morgan being one of them. And it's been so fun for me because all of these guests bring a special area of expertise that is like so different from my own. So it's been really fun to learn from everybody. Why I specifically wanted to bring Morgan on though is because I did I don't know what to call it, like a coffee chat with Morgan one evening. And we, like you guys, we could have talked for hours. She is magnetic. I got off the call with her and I was like, I feel elevated just from being in her virtual presence. Like, you don't have to be in the room with the woman. She has this powerful energetic force that she brings into her spaces, virtual or in person, I imagine. And fun fact, she's also in the Midwest, which is so great because there's not a lot of people I feel I bring on here that are also Midwesterners. So that's really great. She's coming from Wisconsin. So just over the border for me, literally. And just to give you a brief introduction of Morgan, Morgan wears all these hats. Okay. So I want to make sure I'm getting all these right. She's the founder of the Confidence Stage. She is an empowerment coach. She helps specifically high achieving women stop hating their bodies and feel confident naked in bed and in real life. And you guys, that's why I brought her on today, because this is a topic that I feel anybody can benefit from. It doesn't matter your size, your shape, because I think everybody to an extent struggles with body confidence, self-love, self-confidence, self-esteem, all the things. And it all comes back to what you think and say to yourself when you look in the mirror. And that's exactly why I thought this was going to be such a powerful episode that Morgan can speak to, because people often look at me, I'm petite, and they probably assume that I don't struggle with body confidence. But listen, it doesn't matter your shape. Everybody to an extent struggles with this. And I just think in a world where I don't know, where like skinny culture is such a popular thing, we need to bring more attention to self-love and self-confidence and body love. And okay, so anyways, that's why I brought Morgan on, you guys. Morgan, why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, thank you. I appreciate you bringing me on here. And
Yeah.
I love talking all things body confidence because I definitely struggled. And like you said, some people are like, oh, what could you possibly struggle with? Or, who are you to, and it's like everyone, it's relative to everyone and mostly women. Obviously, some men struggle with body image stuff too. And I specialize in women because I am a woman and I care so much and worked around so many women for so many years. So, like you said, I help women love how they look. No diets, no fillers, no fixes. So they can finally feel free because that's how I finally felt. And it was really about my journey.
Mhm.
I'm a teenager of the 90s, so it was
Yeah.
the Kate Moss days and 17 magazine. And one of my favorite movies is Meet Joe Black, and the main character, she was so tiny and just this little skinny little thing, and I wanted to be like that. Like, it
Yeah.
was what I wanted to be, and I also got the paternal grandmother side of the genes, so I was short and curvy at 5'3" and developed, and I have a very tall, thin mom, and I was like, "Well, how come I'm not like you?" And she's like, "Well, you're more like your grandmother." And I'm like, "Oh my god." And so I was like, "Okay." So I got this genetics, and I have this culture telling me that I should be a certain way, and so the idea of what I thought I was supposed to be or what was perfect or what was attractive wasn't me. And it took me literally till I was 26 and I started dancing. I was an exotic dancer for 13 years. So when I started stripping, my entire paradigm was blown out of the water, totally shifted. And it was like overnight that my body image issues were gone. And some friends have said to me, "Really? I would think you'd be more self-conscious. You're on stage, you're naked and or in tiny outfits all night long." And I said, "Absolutely the complete opposite." Now, did I ever do a fitness competition? No, and I was asked to by different trainers of mine,
Really?
"You should come on, like, just do one competition, just." And I said, "Absolutely not." I said, "I struggled with eating disorder,
Yeah.
multiple forms of eating disorders from almost 19 years old into my late 20s."
Really?
And that's something that even I will say, body image aside, I struggle with eating disorders even into my 30s because it was how I coped with stress and anxiety and
Sure.
depression. So I used it as a coping mechanism, unfortunately, and then finally was able to conquer that as well. And the
Sure.
body image stuff, it just totally shifted when I started dancing. And then I was able to teach dance and fitness, also an exotic dance and fitness studio for the everyday woman. And I that kind of coincided. And I was going to graduate school to be a therapist. So like learning to be a therapist, teaching other women to love themselves through my classes, and then also working as a dancer, it was like shifted everything for me. And like I said, blew the paradigm away, what I thought I was supposed to look like or what the perfect woman looked like and the desirable woman. It was
Mm.
awesome. And now I want to just spread the good word to every woman in my life.
Yeah. Wow. So dancing was really like the catalyst for you that shifted everything.
It was. So when I when I decided I was going to be a dancer, I was living in Minneapolis, Minnesota at the time, and I thought, "I'm gonna go to every single strip club and
Yeah.
decide." St. Paul and Minnesota, by the way, at the time, there was only one in St. Paul, and I definitely wasn't gonna work at that one, and after visiting it, and I went to every single club in Minneapolis and decided where I wanted to work. I wanted to work somewhere safe, somewhere classy. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
gonna work in
Yeah.
a strip club, be somewhere classy. There were about 3 in the city at the time that were upper end. But anyway, while I was there, it wasn't until I actually started doing it. So, because when I observed the women, I was like, "Boy, can I do this?" Because I was more watching from an outsider's perspective, and
Right.
the girls were basically putting on a show, and I thought, "Can I do this?" And then when I started dancing, it was instantaneous. One, the warm reception of all the women. So, unfortunately, I feel like in the wild, a lot of women are judgy of each other and critical of
Yeah.
each other
Yeah.
and gossipy about each other.
Mhm.
And every strip club I worked in 2 in Minneapolis and 2 down in the Miami area when I lived there. And the women were very welcoming, and even more so in Miami because I think there's so many transplants, so when I got there, they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god," we're because we all know we're in this together, and so we share a
Right.
locker room, and we're together for 8 to 12 hours, and it was
Yeah.
just a very intimate thing, and so we were all supportive of each other, and then also for me, again, I'm thinking 17 magazine,
Yeah.
Playboy, like, are all the girls gonna look like Playboy
Yeah.
I walk in there, I mean, ages, sizes, ethnicities, big
Mhm.
boobs, small boobs, pointy boobs, round boobs, big butts, small butts, fake butts, like, everybody had so many different ways of being sexy and desirable and confident, and I gotta tell you, the girls I worked with were confident, like, it wasn't like and don't get me wrong, there are clubs where you can tell maybe their passport was taken and they are required to do this and it's a sex
Yeah.
trafficking thing. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
that I'm talking about women who have chosen to do what I did, put myself through school. I met a lot of women, they were going to law school. They were mortgage brokers during the week and knew they could make great money on the weekends. Some
Yeah.
were married. I worked with a girl who was gorgeous and her husband was the bouncer. So
Yeah.
everybody was just in there for their own reasons. And most of the
That's
women I worked
fascinating.
with were working other jobs, going to school, raising their kids, and they were confident. And it
Yeah.
wasn't about having a perfect body. It was like, I am a woman. I am here. You all are here to see me.
Mhm.
All the people that work here are working here and they all have a job because I'm willing to do this. And
Mhm.
so everyone I worked with was very confident and it really empowered me and it empowered, I think, just being in that environment and all the women being supportive of each other and in a similar situation, it empowered us in that way too. It was like a
Wow.
sisterhood. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. That's so interesting. The first time I ever stepped foot in a strip club
Yeah.
was when I went to Vegas, and that was, like, so eye-opening. So, like,
Do you remember which one you went to, Stephanie?
the one on, what's the old street in Vegas? Fremont Street?
Okay. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
the
I
one
went
on
to one
Fremont.
too, and honestly, I was expecting these girls that were like
Yeah,
Hollywood, like,
same.
well, and I went in there and I was like, "These girls are just as hot as the girls I work with in Minnesota. They're just
Yeah,
girls
yep.
next door." Yeah.
And you're right, all sorts of different ages and sizes and yeah, but, like, they all come off so confident, it's so interesting, and, Hollywood paints a picture as to, like, what a strip club experience looks and feels like, and I didn't have any expectations going into this one. It was
Mhm.
more like we were on a girls' trip and, we just wanted to see what hype was all about, and it
Love
was
that.
interesting. Yeah,
It is, and all of them are obviously, they're all different, and there are a
I
lot of
believe that.
aren't terrible, and
Right.
I agree with you how, when you see it strip clubs in movies and video or, TV shows and stuff, there's usually,
Yeah,
like, worst of the worst,
I
and
know.
sometimes I cringe when there's a strip club scene and I'm with my parents because my parents knew that I did that,
Yeah.
and I'd be like, "I swear I did not work in a place like that.
Right.
It was not like that." I'm like, that was not how the
That's
atmosphere was
awesome.
when and
That's
I went
awesome.
to a strip club in Missouri once and I walked in and I thought, "Up to here." Like,
Right? I
I was
bet.
literally telling the girls on stage, "What is your plan B? Because I don't think you should be here much longer. Like, I need
Yeah,
you to find a different place to work."
that's fair. Yeah. I used to when I first opened my private practice, when I was, like, still in those very beginning stages of, like, building up my client load, my husband and I had this running joke. So there's an airport an hour from where we live, and on that same road, there's a strip club. Never been there. I don't know the quality of it. It's an hour from here. And so the running joke between us was like, well, if my caseload doesn't build up fast enough, my backup plan will be on Mondays, specifically on Monday mornings, my Monday morning will be reserved for the strip club. I'll
Mhm.
probably make some good income there to help supplement as my caseload builds. Nobody will ever know because most of my clients aren't from that area. So it'll just be like, and in my head, I was like, I bet Monday mornings are like when all the pilots probably go there, because
Yeah,
they've been flying all weekend. So maybe that's like when they're like recover. So in my head, I was like, genius, that's the population I want to dance for. This was like a running joke for the first year of my business. And obviously I never did it. But I mean, I actually thought that was kind of a genius backup idea.
that's hilarious.
And I feel like I'm confident enough to do it. So there you go. Yeah. So, how does this carry over to what you do now as a coach?
It's so interesting because I've literally went on Etsy and looked for a t-shirt that says "Trust the process," and they're out there.
I
Because when
love
I
that.
was younger, thought people would say, "Trust the process," and I think,
Mhm,
"Fuck you and your trust the pro." I want an answer because
mhm.
I'm a Type A person. I like structure. I like a plan.
Yeah, you
So
are.
the fact that life is not linear at all. I mean, now I'm okay with it. And when I was younger, I was like, just tell me what I'm supposed to do. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
knew I wanted to help people in some capacity. So I ended up getting a degree in psychology for my undergraduate.
Yep,
Well,
same.
as you know, you can't do shit with an undergraduate in
But
psych,
why don't professors in undergrad school tell you that? You know what I mean? Like, why did nobody tell us that?
right? A gal that I went to school with, she had a room next to me. She got her degree, her RN degree, came out of college in 2003 at a $65,000 a year salary living in Huntington Beach, California, which was good money for back then.
Yeah.
I was like, I graduated with a 4-year degree and I can't do anything. I'm a
Right.
waitress, you know?
Yes, I was the same way. I also was waitressing. And then I started grad school and my very first professor was like, "Do you know what would have helped you more is if you would have majored in gotten a BSW, a bachelor's in social work instead of psychology." And I'm like, "Why?" And then when she explained it to me, like, "Well, you actually could have had more opportunities for a job with a BSW." And I was like, "Yeah, no, I agree. No shit now." But like,
Yeah.
nobody told me that. I thought psychology meant I could become a counselor, you
Well,
know?
and the reality is because they, like my friend that went through the RN program, she learned the skills to be an RN. We
Yes.
learned a bunch of theories. We didn't actually
Yes.
learn how to be a therapist. So,
Yep. Yep.
anyway,
Okay.
so after that, it was like, okay, now what? And so I did spend some time, like I said, working in restaurants, homeless youth drop in centers. I was always trying, I wanted to help people. I just didn't know how or what. And that
Yeah.
was obviously frustrating. I mean, fast forward all these years, now it all makes sense. Back then, it was
Right.
like, just what am I supposed to be doing? I
Right.
got into law school. I went for a semester because I thought, oh, I'll be a social worker with more power.
Yes.
Law school was not for me. My brain just did not work that way. So, semester in, and we're going to take exams. And I thought, I'm going to fail. I had a mentor, I had a tutor, and I was like, I'm still not understanding this. And so I thought, well, I'm done. So I left law school, got into the school of social work, went to orientation. I was like, I don't think social work's for me. This is not feeling right. So I will say, if nothing else, I trust the process now. I trusted
Yeah.
my gut always. I have always trusted
Yes.
my gut. And I was like,
Preach.
social work's not for me. So I got
Yeah.
into a PsyD program and went to orientation. I was like, this is too stuffy for me. I'm not going to make it here. I'm a
Okay.
little too loosey goosey for this. And then as I was literally leaving, the recruiter guy or whatever out of the recruitment office at the college, he's like basically running after me. He's like, Morgan, what about the marriage and family therapy? The master's in marriage and family therapy. And I said, well, can you own your own business with a master's degree? For some reason, I thought you had to have a doctorate or a
I,
like a
I get
PsyD.
it.
I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yep.
He's like, "Of course you can have your own business and you can, put out your own shingle with a master's degree." I'm like, "Well, then tell me more." I got into
Yeah.
the program, loved it, aced it.
Wow.
I did well. I really enjoyed it. And so anyway,
Wow.
go post internship into doing therapy. And as you know, as a therapist, you don't get to choose your clients.
No.
So they want you to build your client list to a certain number. And
Right.
I was getting just the variety of patients, and I thought, "I don't wanna do this for the rest of my life either."
Yeah.
So, to my parents' shock and dismay at that time, I quit my job, sold everything I owned, ended my lease in my apartment, packed in my car, and moved to Miami from Minnesota.
Wow.
And I went back to stripping because it was a way to make money
Yeah.
and figure out what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And I bought the domain name morganbarkus.com way back in
Nice.
2013 when I moved to Miami and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to build a website, a business, nothing. But I was like,
Yeah.
I want to be a coach. And a couple of my favorite clients as when I was a therapist were women that I helped them rebuild their confidence. And I thought,
Mm.
okay, so that's my ideal client. If I'm going to build a business,
Yes.
that's who I want to work. I want to work with women who
Cool.
need their confidence back. It's there, it's been there, they lost it, let's go. And then all in between all of that, so like I said, that was the school path.
Right.
When I started graduate school, that's when I started stripping because I knew I needed to pay
Okay.
for my life and go to school
Yeah.
full time during the week. So that's when I started dancing. And at the same time, so I was going to school full time. I worked as a stripper on the weekends, and then I also taught dance and fitness at an exotic dance and fitness studio for the everyday woman. So I was teaching pole dance, lap dance, exotic dance for women.
Okay, that's so cool.
It is so cool, and I miss it, and some of the women and I are still we talk and connect, and I mean, I started teaching there, what, 2006?
So
And
you
some
gotta
of
be jacked, Morgan. Pole dancing is like that
well,
is
okay, so I wasn't the pole dancer that does all the cool tricks.
Okay. All right.
So,
Well,
there's pole tricks and there's pole
yeah.
dance. So, pole
Okay.
tricks
Okay.
is like the acrobat, like, awesome. You're right.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
some of the
your
girls I
arms
worked
have to
with
be
in
jacked.
Miami were like Cirque du Soleil quality.
I believe that.
Yeah. I was like, go around the pole, be cute. I was
Love
more
it.
like,
Yeah.
it was, and even the pole dance class I taught, it was by 8 count. So it was actually an aerobic workout. So it'd be like
Cool.
5, 6, 7, and then we would do stuff and every move had a count. And so it was more, it was like, it wasn't
Sweet.
tricks as much as it was like a
Sure.
fitness class. So
Yeah.
anyway, what I loved about that was women would come in and do one session with me and they'd show up in kind of baggy clothes and they're like not sure of themselves, not sure of the
Mm,
vibe,
that's pretty
not sure of
telling.
like the vibe of the women.
Yep.
One class later, she's in hot pants and a bra top, and
That's
her body hadn't changed an inch, not even a millimeter,
but her
yet
energy.
well, and here she was, so that's what I'm saying, like, it wasn't about her body changing, it was her mind. She decided she was in a safe environment, and she was really fucking sexy, even with her current body. And yes, there's room for improvement. If you wanna get in shape, if you wanna do this or that, cool, but the body you have is the body you're in right now, so take care of your vessel and know that you are sexy as you are. And
Mhm.
that is what I loved when I was teaching. And so with all that experience, and I was like, wait, I helped myself, I helped other women. Well, now I can have a coaching program and do that, and take
Mm.
my therapy skills and my
Yeah.
life experience and my experience as a dancer and my experience as a dance instructor and really kind of tied into one coaching program because I can't give women the experience of being a stripper and
Right.
I can take them down a journey, through my experience of what that was like and help them through my coaching program in that way.
So if safety is one of the, I don't know if I want to say catalyst, but maybe one of the blocks, if they're not feeling safe, showing up confidently in their body, how do you, is it about you providing that energy of safety? Is it about you getting them to tap into that energy of safety? Like, how do you help them to embody that? Like, because ultimately I agree. I think that's what's missing is so many women don't feel safe in their own body. How do
Sure.
you elicit that within them? Like, how do you get them to what's the difference between her showing up in those baggy clothes? Yeah, it's a mindset shift, but like you said, it's also she felt safe. So obviously you provide that
That container,
energy.
yeah.
Yeah, that container. Yeah,
Yes. And I think, yeah, it's a combination of things. Because let's be real, anything that you do, it depends on who you're doing it with. So
totally.
the person, if you're gonna work with somebody, you can't enable and you can't be like
Hmm.
codependent. And at the same time, someone's energy, just like you and I, when we got off the
Yep.
call, and you're like, I feel a little pep in my step after talking to you.
Yep.
And I do, thank God, I personally believe that's my superpower. I
I
have an
agree.
energy that I can give to other people. And that's why, whether on Zoom, virtually, when I'm working with people, most people, they're not local. So, we're
Right.
working virtually.
Right.
And when there is an opportunity to do a live event, they feel that too. And so
Hmm.
I
I
think,
could see that.
yes, and so I can't
Hmm.
be with them every day all the time. So that's
Right.
something that I inspire them and keep them going and give
Mm.
them a little oomph if they need it. So that's why I'm there accessible in that way. And
Okay. Okay.
and then when you say safe, well, then you got to kind of track back, like what makes you feel unsafe? Because
Mm.
some people,
Hmm.
religious stuff, like they were raised to
Yes.
be, they were shamed for being a woman, having desire, being sexual, who knows?
Yeah.
So, like, we gotta figure that. Or there's some sexual trauma. Well, now we gotta back.
Yes.
And I am not a trauma specialist and
Right.
can still talk about and work with
Yeah.
what did that feel like? How are you protecting yourself now? Can we rewrite those stories? Can we make you feel
Hmm.
safe? And kind of work
Hmm.
through that.
Yeah. And honestly, what I think sets you apart, like, yeah, what I hear you saying is like there could be 100 different, body confidence coaches out there.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
what sets you apart is, well, there's many things, but one being that you have that psychological background and expertise that you also bring to the room because yeah, I know you're not a trauma specialist, but because of your therapy background, you know what questions to ask, you know what prompts to put out there to lead them to kind of dig into that a little bit. Like, let's uncover what this story stems from,
Mhm.
and that's like part of your superpower. And you guys, like, Morgan's not blowing smoke up your ass. There is something to be said about the energy she brings to a room because like, I don't share it just to anyone about orgasms and stuff, but, like, the very first time we chatted, we ended the call with Morgan, like, literally, like, instilling in me this new belief that I am a multi-orgasmic woman, and I literally got off the call and was like, "Okay, I don't just share that with just anybody." But apparently I felt safe sharing that with Morgan, so
Thank you for saying that because I will say, yes, I am very, very grateful how many times perfect strangers have gotten in conversations with me and they're like, I cannot believe I'm telling you all of this right now.
yeah, I get it. I have that same effect on people, I get it. Yep, yep.
Well,
Yeah,
and
so I
and
could see
because
that.
I'm so comfortable talking about bodies and sexuality,
Mm,
that, like, for you, I'm sure you have things that people share with you that they don't think and it might not be necessarily sex in their bodies.
right.
I'm just so, so comfortable talking about it. I make other people feel safe talking about it because this
Yeah,
is a no judgment zone. There there was a gal years ago when I was a therapist,
okay.
and at the time I was still an intern. And there was a therapist working with her who didn't wanna work with her anymore because she had cheated on her husband. And the therapist's moral, ethical compass or whatever, he was like, "I don't wanna deal with this woman. She bothers me." And I was like, "Well, I'll take
Okay.
her." And so
Yeah.
I was grateful to work with her, and we were in the I hadn't met her yet. I didn't know what she looked like. So I grabbed her file. I walk out to the waiting room to go get her. She stands up and starts walking toward me. So I thought, "Well, how does she know who I am?" You know?
Right.
Well, we get in the old therapy office and I introduce myself and let her know I am an intern. So I may or may not get a job here. So I may or may not be here long term. And she's like, "So I'm not going to lose you to pole dancing." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, she goes, I looked at her. She goes, "I Googled you." And I was like, "Okay." And
I
I
love
said,
it.
"Knowing what you found out about me, what made you feel safe still, having me as your therapist?" She said, "Because I knew you wouldn't judge me." And
Ooh.
I said, "Girl, that you couldn't have found a more open-minded therapist right here because I've been judged. So I would never judge you because I
Mhm.
know what that feels like. My life is my
Mhm.
choice. As long as I'm not hurting myself or anyone else, it is
Right.
nobody's business." So, so anyway, it was
Wow.
so I hope, that people, women feel comfortable and they usually do.
Yeah.
Like even I met a gal at the nude beach.
Yeah, 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 tell that story. Yeah, go there.
And we're still friends now. We're talking about maybe doing a girls' weekend. But anyway, she and her husband, first time ever at the nude beach. And I am a diehard regular because I used to live down there and I went to the nude beach a couple times a week. I just think that the vitamin D should be everywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't like swimming suits. I don't like tan lines and I don't like swimming suits. So I would lay out my blanket, my book, and just lay out in the sun. And I don't live down there anymore. And so I went to visit and obviously went to the nude beach. And I was sitting there and this gentleman starts talking to me and I thought and I kinda was watching the wife because I wanna make sure she was okay with the situation. And he was I mean, it wasn't anything inappropriate, and I still wanted to make sure that she felt safe. And, he was basically asking me about, like, "Do you come here often?" I said, "Yes." And he's like, "I don't know the etiquette." And I'm like, "You just be yourself. Everybody's got the same parts. They just look a little different. Just be yourself, relax, have fun." And then he and his wife go in the water and they're swimming and she took off her top. I was so proud of her. And then as they came back in, and I hadn't even talked to her yet, as they started coming back in from the water, she was looking at me. And so I smiled and I said, "How you feeling?" And she's like, "Can I ask you something?" And then pretty soon she's sitting on the blanket with me and we are in like a 45-minute conversation. And I said, "Girl, you do have no idea who you just sat next to." Cause she was asking about like putting herself out there and getting attention and
Mhm.
how
Wow.
to like not people please and worry about other people's feelings and just be okay in your own body and taking up space and so we had this great conversation and so it was really really awesome and just even at the nude beach I am
Yeah.
glad to have created a safe environment for her to feel safe to talk about that stuff.
It's wild because it's like you're attracting your ideal clients, not just through online meetups, you know? It's
I
wild.
have a fellow entrepreneur. She's also a coach, totally different genre, and She's like, I told her we were in a little group chat, and I said, I just met someone at the nude beach, and we had a great conversation, and basically she was my ideal client, and so it was really great to talk to her and just get some insight on how she was feeling and what the thoughts that she was thinking in her head, and then one gal, she goes, "You know what? If you can meet people at the nude beach, I can change in the locker room without hiding in the changing room." So I changed my clothes in the locker room today, Morgan. Thank you. You inspired me. And I was like, yes,
That
because
is amazing.
right? Because it's just, and even I had a conversation with the young lady. I actually did a exotic dance workshop recently, and
Okay.
I belong to the Soho House in Chicago, and there's a gorgeous studio space in the gym. And I thought, oh, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I got to teach a dance class in here. And sure enough, over a dozen gals showed up. And the one gal, gorgeous young lady, I'm talking like early to mid 20s, beautiful girl, ambitious, accomplished. And some men had said inappropriate things to her, like, you'd be a lot hotter if your tits were bigger. And, and I said, first of all, that guy's got to go.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. And then
Yeah.
second
He's
of all,
also projecting, so whatever.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
"Ew." Okay,
Right.
don't even take that in. I know it's hard
No.
not to take other people's, stuff in,
Mhm.
and that is their story, yeah, their projection, their
Mhm.
ew. And with the algorithm and the social media and all the things, she was feeling like she maybe needed to have some surgeries,
Yeah.
and she actually had consultations booked, and I got her because we happened to be in this class together, and I just kept talking to her, and with the I don't know, I maybe got to talk to her half hour, 45 minutes. This young lady, this was at a different dance class, when she came to my dance class for my workshop, she shared with the entire group that after she and I talked, she canceled those consultations to get surgery. And I was
Amazing.
like, thank you. Because I said,
Yeah.
you are gorgeous the way you are.
Yeah.
Any man that finds you beautiful is the great man for you. You don't need to change anything, no diets, no
Yeah.
fillers, no fixes. Again, take care of your vessel.
Right.
Yeah. I
Right.
mean, you don't think I work out.
Right.
I drink water, I get sleep, I take
Mhm.
care of my vessel, I want to look good and feel healthy,
Yes.
and Stephanie, I got scars. When I danced, I
Right.
got some huge boobs. I got implants because I love big boobs, I do, I
Yeah.
still love big boobs. I even miss my
Yeah.
big boobs sometimes, but I got these huge boobs, and I had so much fun with them, and I had them for almost a decade and a half, and then it was finally like, I don't really need boobs this gigantic anymore. So let me go ahead and get these removed and just go all natural. Well, I'll tell you what, the doctor, when he put my areolas back on, they don't line up evenly.
Right.
Like, they're not perfect. I got
Yep.
huge anchor scars, but not one time have I gotten naked and somebody's like, yikes, I can't do this. Those are
Yeah.
scary. That's ugly. Or no, it's
Yeah.
I own it. It is what I am and how I am. And I don't feel bad about it. So my energy then doesn't, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I
Right.
don't even know if this
Well,
answers your question about safety, but
no, I love this. And this honestly pivots in a perfect way. So you've really been speaking to like these examples that you've been sharing is really speaking to the transformation that
Mhm.
you provide to your clients, which that's perfect. I want listeners to know about that. What, in regards to the transformation that you can help provide for people, there's obviously some kind of a reprogramming that has to happen mentally to help shift the person that walks into the room to work with you versus the person that walks out weeks later after working with you. How does that how does that then look in real life? Like when you do that reprogramming, then what changes in the bedroom? What changes in regards to like how they dress themselves? What changes in regards to how they show up in a room full of women or men or whatever? You know what I mean? Like
In
talk
real
to
life.
that a little bit.
Love this question, and that's how my program was even came to be, if you will,
Mhm.
because I thought, what were the pieces that I finally put together that helped me?
Yeah.
Because I am the first to admit, in college, I struggled with body dysmorphia and disordered
Mhm.
eating. I went to
Mhm.
the school therapist. I think I went twice and I was like, this isn't helping. Well, I already read the books and journal. Like, this isn't
Right.
helping. That didn't help.
Right.
Then in my early 20s, when I was on my own after college, I went to another therapist and she's poking around in my childhood. I'm like, girl, I
Yeah.
need a solution. I need to know what to do today. Okay. So I saw her maybe one or two times. I'm like, this isn't working. I'm very solution focused. So I want to
Obviously.
whack. And then I went to a nutritionist and she's like, you got to eat this and then, and I'm like, but I don't really like that stuff. Like, I don't want to eat
Mhm.
that, And so then I was like, well, I don't like this either. And so I stopped that. I went to
Interesting.
Overeaters Anonymous. I was like, maybe I do that. I got a problem in the brain. Maybe I need to go to Overeaters Anonymous.
Yeah.
I did more therapy. I read so many books and they talk about intuitive eating. And I'd be like, you can take your intuitive eating and rub it. 'Cause I still don't know what that means. So there were so many things that I just was like, just tell me what to do. And
Yeah.
so that's why all the years that it took me to, and the pieces came together for me. So you say reprogramming. Look, we have to eat. And a lot of women have chased fad diets, done the
Yes.
fen. I did diet drugs. Now there's legal diet drugs and you
Shots.
can, yeah, yes. So there's a lot of things that we're being fed, like eat this,
Mhm.
not that. Eat this way, not this way. Do this, do that. You're counting macros. People ask me, "Are you count macros?" No, excuse me. I just, for me, it was like, okay, I help women figure out, what do you like to eat?
Mhm.
And I read a book, Why We Get Fat, and that kind of blew my mind because you grow up eating whatever your family feeds you. And thank
Yeah.
goodness, my family was meat, potatoes, and a vegetable. We ate very healthy. But then when I was on my own, I didn't cook and I didn't know how to eat and it was
Right.
terrible. And
Yeah.
and as it was also so screwed up after years of an eating disorder. So for me, working with women, it's like we gotta eat.
Yeah.
So we gotta figure out what you actually like to eat, how you like to eat, what we're
Mm.
going to do to make sure that you're not on some plan. Like, screw a
Right.
plan. What do
Yeah.
you like? Let's figure that out and what's reasonable to, feel your best, feel your, because
Yeah.
people ask me, what do you eat? I said, whatever the fuck I want.
Mhm.
That being said, do I want to eat a box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch sometimes? Sure.
Right. Right.
At the end of the day, I don't, because what I want is to feel healthy, sleep good.
Yes.
And if I eat that cereal, I'm not going to sleep good because now my blood sugar is way too high and my heart rate's up and I'm not going to sleep good. And then I'm going to be way too crabby tomorrow and I'm not going to want to work. So I eat what I want, knowing how I want to feel. And that's where I have to help
Yes.
women make that connection, because how do you actually want to feel? And then I can help figure out how to eat so you feel that way. So that's one piece of the puzzle.
Are you ready to step into your most abundant next level self? What if I told you that what you wear and surround yourself with can actually help you manifest the life of your dreams? That's exactly why I'm so excited to share Future Self Apparel with you guys. It's a manifestation focused lifestyle brand designed to empower you with affirmations, intentional products, and daily reminders to live your most abundant life. As a mindset and manifestation coach, I always preach about embodying your future self now. And that's exactly what this brand helps you do. Whether it's through affirmation infused apparel, high vibrational products, or mindset shifting reminders, everything Future Self creates is designed to elevate your energy, align you with your desires, and help you become the person you are meant to be. Here's what makes Future Self Apparel so powerful. Every piece is created with intention, infused with positive affirmations and manifestation energy. Wearing or using these products is a tangible way to embody your highest self daily. And it's not just clothing, it's a mindset shift, helping you stay aligned with your goals and abundance. I've been obsessed with Future Self Apparel because it literally aligns perfectly with the work that I do, helping women build confidence, rewire their limiting beliefs, and create the life they've always dreamed of. So, if you're ready to step into your highest timeline and become the future self you've been manifesting, this is for you. Head to the link in today's show notes to shop Future Self Apparel and start living as the most confident, abundant, and aligned version of you.
So that's a reprogramming of,
I like it.
yeah, because like I said, we've been programmed to diet and eat this and
Yeah.
not that. Oh,
Yeah.
so annoying.
And it's not individual people's faults. It's society has hardwired us to believe like that's the solution. These shots are a solution. Diets, fads, they're a solution. But
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And there is no one. And you have to figure out
No.
what's for you. So anyway, we go through that piece. Then there's the actual what you're telling yourself. And this is a huge one because when I was younger, I was super mean to myself. I said
Yeah.
all kinds of mean things.
Most of
Things
us
I'd
are.
never say to a friend or my
Yep.
mom or, terrible things.
Yep. Yep.
Look in the mirror and say mean things. Think mean things. And I thought, okay, well, we got to turn this around. And so for me, it would be helping her reprogram her the thoughts because
Yes.
they're creating some kind of insecurity or self-loathing. The feeling that you have doesn't just manifest out of nowhere. It's coming from a
No.
thought. So
Yeah.
you're thinking a thought. Can we grab that thought and let's take a look at that thought. Let's test it out a little. Is it true? Is it absolutely true? Where did it come from? Can we rewrite that and now reprogram? And it's not going to happen like this because it took
Right.
me, I would say, a solid 6 months to a year where I finally started feeling like, oh, I'm not saying so many mean things to myself anymore.
Yes. Yes.
And then now, like I said, I can look in the mirror. And don't get me wrong, gas stations have the worst lighting. I'll run into a gas station, use the restroom, and I'm like, whoa, I am looking a little old today. So, sometimes I have that thought
Right. Right.
and it doesn't have any attachment to my worthiness. I'm like,
Mhm.
yikes, this
Mhm.
lighting makes me look old. Observation.
Yes.
This
Yep.
doesn't make me ugly, unworthy, undesirable, so but again, helping women, I help them reprogram the thought, making
Yeah.
sure, is it actually true? And can we flip it and reprogram you to not
Yeah.
have attachment to those thoughts anymore?
Yes. Yeah.
That's part of it.
Okay,
The other
that's so interesting.
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
that's literally what you did in our call and I thinking back to that conversation that we had
Yeah,
now, that's literally what you were doing with me and I didn't know it at the time, but it must just be so natural for you kind of like practicing therapy. Like
yeah.
I don't always know how to turn it off because my brain just goes there with people, right? But that's
Sure.
literally what you did with me because I was sharing a personal story about orgasms and breaking my neck and how I think the two are connected and all the things. And you encouraged me to reprogram that story I've been telling myself since it's been 10 years since I broke my neck. And you literally did that. You flipped that switch for me. And you were like, well, what if the opposite were true? What if you were a multi-orgasmic? Well, and then I was like, it was
You're
like a
like,
light
"Wait,
bulb, like,
what?"
what if I am though? Yeah, it's so interesting. That's literally what you did. Okay. It's cool how you explained that. And that made me think, yeah, she did that to me. Okay.
I love that. And
It's
to be
just so
honest,
natural.
like you said, it's so natural to me. I didn't even think
Hmm.
about it until you made the connection. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I guess
Hmm.
we do that, didn't
It probably just, you don't even know that's what you're doing. And it's cool that you can break this down and explain it to listeners. And I'm thinking, okay, I experienced that in real life with Morgan. So you obviously just like naturally, organically do that with people. Yeah.
Well, and like I
That's how
said,
you know
I'm
you're in
thinking
flow.
about what it took for me. Like
Right.
I went to therapist after therapist and the nutritionist and the eating disorder clinic, and I
Yes.
was like, just tell me what to do. And so
Yep.
finally, like I said, I can finally put these pieces together and help women because women want to know, okay, it's just another therapist. I've been to therapy. No,
Yeah.
it's not.
No,
Like I said, I
no.
am solution focused. We're going to work out eating and get your mind right and get you out of your head about what you're eating because women hear the chatter and they count and they measure and they do all the things and then
Yes.
they punish themselves and shame themselves for what they ate yesterday. We're going to knock all that off, negative thoughts. And then I will say movement. My
Speak
ultimate
to that.
goal, and I've been playing with this, so don't anybody steal it if you're listening right now. My therapy, or not my therapy, my coaching method, the naked method, because ultimately I want you to be naked and love it. I want
Yes.
you to love bean naked every day, all
Yes.
the time, even on your worst days, and you're like
Yep.
a little extra, a little bloatedness, like because PMS.
Yep.
I always put on like a couple pounds during
Yeah.
PMS,
Yeah. Day 1 and 2 of your cycle, you still wanna feel sexy AF.
and yeah, and so actually that happened last month. I was day 1 of my period, feeling cramps like you would believe, and
Yes.
I was a little bloated. And the lighting was so good in the hotel room, and I just sat on the floor and I took a picture. I was like, okay, like I just look
Love.
extra curvy today. Okay.
Yeah. Love.
But
Okay,
anyway,
cool.
I think that again, the ultimate is this, the naked method, if you will, is because I want you to feel great naked. The other part of that is movement and both working out, but also dancing. And I say dancing
Yeah.
because I don't care if it's Zumba. I don't care if it's bachata. I don't
Yep.
care if it's you find a pole dance studio. I don't know. Whatever it is, I think dancing transforms.
I
And I
agree.
think for women, especially, we are gorgeous. I've seen male strippers and I've seen female strippers. Male strippers have to put on an outfit and a show and have to have a scenario and it has to all be played out. And women literally walk onto a stage. I worked in strip clubs that didn't even have poles. We had to go walk out onto stage by ourselves, no props, and
Yeah.
figure out how to
Yes.
entertain for 3 songs, you know? I mean,
Wow.
and so a woman just we're gorgeous and we're
Yeah,
curvy and beautiful and soft and sensual, and I think dance brings that out, and in
I
my
agree.
experience as a dance instructor and as a
Yep.
dancer,
Yep.
there is something that we tap into when we dance that
Yeah.
is just magical,
Yeah,
and
and
so
then I
go ahead.
also think another part of that is, like, girls, damn near every girl, when you think about your inner child, most girls will say as a child they loved to dance.
Yeah.
Whether it was a hobby or an extracurricular or not, most girls love to dance. And it's like when you dance out now as a grown woman, your inner child, you're bringing healing to her because she loves that. That's you showing up, tapping into your inner feminine, your creativity. And
Mhm.
it really brings healing to that inner child, I believe. So
Yeah.
I think it's powerful in more ways than one.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the many workshops I have done, and even that workshop I did recently, it was back in January, and the women, they were confident women from like because they're
Hmm.
successful, they're busy women, career women, most of them. A lot of them were like, "Look, I work in a really male dominated environment. I'm just coming here because I want to just feel feminine and sexy." And I was like, "Girl, you're in
Yeah.
the right place." I was with them for what, an hour? With that, I always do a little huddle at the end, get it circle everybody up, kinda like, "How you feeling now? Is it what you expected? What are you walking away with tonight?"
Right.
And they're like, "I didn't even know my body could do that," and I'm feeling so good. Like, a lot of the girls were like 'cause they were confident coming in, because 'cause they're confident in their careers, and they're confident in
Yeah.
their friend circles and whatever. But there's still like, "I wanna feel confident in my body." That was the comment I got at the beginning of the workshop where they're like, "I just wanna feel sexy. I wanna feel confident in my body." Near the end, they were all like, "I'm feeling myself. I'm cute." And I was like, "Yes, you are." So I
Okay.
truly think that dance, and I'm actually working on years ago, I shot a whole series of exotic dance, like broke down exactly how to do exotic. And so I have all the videos up on YouTube and like private listed, and I'm going to create an online course
I love it.
because at home, at the privacy of your own home, you could learn exotic dance because not everybody can get to a
Totally.
workshop with me.
Right.
To be honest, at my age and 2 knee surgeries and arthritis later, I don't have it in me to teach regularly like I used to. I mean,
Okay.
that workshop I taught, my knees were a little they were
Mm.
angry at me for 2 days.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I did a lot. I've been very physically active for many
Love
years.
that. Love it.
Anyway, so I have this online course that I'm hoping that I'll be able to I plan to bring to women that for, you know,
Yeah.
set like, it's just $20, they can, like, learn in their house because that's a safe way to
Genius.
learn.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
but anyway, I think dance and then also just working out in general, and I don't care if you go
Yeah.
for every night with your boyfriend, your dog, your kid, moving your body gets hormones different in your body. It just does.
Yes.
You can be in the crankiest mood during PMS, and I'm like, nothing happens until I work out. And then I'll
Mhm.
go walk on the treadmill and get my incline on. I don't run, I do my inclines.
Yeah.
Build your booty, ladies,
Yep.
and your leg muscles and get your heart rate up. I do a little 15-minute yoga flow, and I'm like, "Okay, now I can talk to people," because it
Mhm.
really, truly changes the chemistry in your body, and so I always tell people I have 3 favorite things in this life: coffee, sex, and working out.
I love
But
that.
when I told my brother that, he's like, "You like working out that much?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do," because it
Yeah.
does totally shifts my vibe. So I think
Yeah.
that every woman take care of your vessel, and that means moving your body, and not an I used to be a diehard worker outer. I was like, "Has to be an
Mhm.
hour to happen. It has to have this much of
Yeah.
this, that much of that." Now I'm like, "What do I feel like doing today?" Well, I don't even feel like working out, and I am going to anyway, so maybe I go for a walk outside today, and I would walk outside, and that was all I had the capacity for. I truly, truly think that moving your body every day, including sex, is a wonderful way to get your hormones in your body right.
I agree. And a recent health coach told me, and this might have actually been when she came on my podcast. I can't remember if it was a personal conversation or if it was one that we had on the podcast, but she told me in regards to movement, working out, following a plan, like a workout plan, she's like, those days when you don't feel like working out, the motto, follow the plan, not the mood.
Yes.
I'm just not in the mood to work out. Well, you're not working out based on your moods. You're working out based on a plan you set in place, you know?
Stephanie, Nailed it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was even a realization for me. There were 2 big
Yeah.
realizations when it came to working out. You eat for your health, you
Yeah.
work out, or, well, I would say you eat for your weight, you work out
Yes.
for your health. Because a lot of people are
I
like,
like that.
"I gotta work out this much to burn this much," and it's like, "No, no, no, no."
Mhm.
'Cause actually,
No.
when I got my implants in the first time way back in my 20s, I took 2 weeks off from teaching, and when I came back, one of my students said, "You didn't get fat." And I was like, "Well, no, because I still ate healthy. I lost some muscle mass,
Yeah.
but I didn't pick up a bunch of weight because I didn't change how I ate. I was eating
Yeah.
healthy."
Yeah.
But a lot of women, that's what they're programmed is you have to your weight depends on your working out capacity. Well, I'm heavier than I wanna be, or I don't look how I wanna be because I'm not working out. No, no, you build muscle mass and get toned if you work out.
Mhm.
Well, you're helping your
Mhm.
heart, and you're actually helping your sex life and your
Yeah.
joints and all the things. Your food is what determines how much you're going to weigh or
Yes.
fat
Yes.
have on your body. So that
Yeah.
was one revelation. And then the other one, like you said, was the feeling.
Mm.
And that was anything in life. It was like,
Yeah.
well, I don't feel like working on my business, or I don't feel like recording a podcast, or I don't feel
Right.
like working out. Sometimes the people, I don't feel like having sex with my partner.
Yeah.
And yet, if you get going and you do it after the
Yep.
fact, you're like, boy, am I glad I did that? You know?
Yes.
So
Every
I think
time. Every time I don't feel like working out and I do it, I afterwards am like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad I did that." So,
I
yeah,
don't think there's
just don't
ever a
follow the
workout that
feeling.
you regret.
Right. Don't follow the feeling. Just follow the plan, and the feeling you get afterwards will remind you why you did. What about for those women who have tried or who feel like they have tried everything? Like maybe they're working with a therapist, maybe they're doing affirmations, but maybe none around their body. Maybe they try to follow like body positive Instagram pages. So like they feel like, well, I'm doing, and they try to eat healthy. Like they feel like they're doing all the things, but they still are hating on their body, or they still aren't happy with the number on the scale, or they feel like there's still something I'm missing. What
Mhm.
would you say is that block? That is it just a mental block?
Yeah, because
Okay. I
I
would,
I I I truly believe everything in this life is a choice,
yeah.
and you can choose this thought or this thought. You
Yep.
can choose
Agreed.
it really is a choice.
I agree.
I understand it's hard. I've been there.
Yep.
And then especially if you're not where you wanna be, like, when you look in the mirror and you're like, "Not loving this," and it's
Mhm.
like well, for instance, I recently I was like, not really hanging on to a six-pack anymore. Not that I ever had a six-pack, but I
Sure.
mean, I was kinda I had a little muscle tone in my stomach.
Yeah.
Now I'm kinda like, there's just a layer that I think is gonna be there. Oh, rather than go, "Oh, it's so ugly," or, "Oh, why do I have this?" or, "I can't
Yeah.
stand this," and grab it and be like, "Ugh," "Why does it have to be here?" Or, "Maybe I
No.
should start starving myself to see if I can get rid of this."
Mhm.
I've been like, "You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna love on it.
Yes.
I'm gonna get in the bed, and when I go over on my side, I'm just gonna hold on to it, and I'm like, so sorry." So,
Yes.
I've learned to go, "This is how my body is." Doesn't
Yeah.
mean it's gonna be like that forever, because women's bodies
Right.
fluctuate with their cycle and the time of their life and so many
Right. But yeah. Yeah.
this is how I am now,
Yep.
and I don't feel bad. I'm not gonna make myself feel bad about that. I'm still
That's
desirable and sexy, and I love my
yes.
body. So I think it truly is a choice because I could really
I
go,
agree with you.
"Well, I picked up these pounds and now have this little pooch and and now I'm like, no, it just makes me more plushy and lovable and curvy and
Mhm.
because I've got to say,
Mhm.
I am the gal that will send the nudes and the videos. I like
Love.
doing if I'm in a
Love.
relationship.
Yep.
And
I
what
love
I
that.
10 years ago, when I was dating a guy, I used to send a lot of videos because we were in a long distance relationship. Girl, I was like, wow, I am fit. I'm on it. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Now I see a video and I'm like, yikes. Okie doke. Got a little bit of cellulite right here, and my stomach's not as flat as it used to be. And then I was like, well, still sexy, you know?
Yep.
So it was
Yep.
just, I had to make that choice rather than look at that video and
Mhm.
go, critique, 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 critique. I looked at it and
Mhm.
went, no, it like just my it literally is a shift. I'm not saying that you
Yes.
can just magically it's a light switch. So that's where, like I said, a coach comes in or,
Yeah.
it take work to reprogram that. And sometimes a
Yep.
cheerleader, because let's be real, sometimes
I
you need
agree.
another person in your life to go, girl,
Yes.
no, let's talk about this,
Yes.
and
I
help you get
agree.
right.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, and honestly, and I agree with you. I have that same unpopular opinion about our thoughts being a choice. People don't want to hear that, and specifically in the therapy world, people get very defensive. Primarily work with people who suffer from anxiety, and they don't like when I tell them, "You are choosing these thoughts," because everyone likes to have a scapegoat, like somebody or something has to be to blame, so we blame our intrusive thoughts. You don't want to hear this, but you are choosing those to believe those intrusive thoughts. It is a choice. I agree with you. I'm not saying it's easy, but I have overcome anxiety. So kind of like you've overcome lack of body confidence. When you have gone through it, I think it's safe for you to say, yes, it was a choice. I did wake up every day and choose the negative thought. And when I woke up every day and chose to live by that positive thought, that's when my world changed. And then I made that conscious decision every day to choose that positive thought. And things shift. And it really is, I don't want to say it's really that easy, but it really is that easy when you make that conscious decision to fight the negative, to combat that critic, and choose the more empowering, affirming, or positive thought. Things change. It's magic, but it
But I
changes.
would say, yeah, it's simple and it's not always easy. It gets easier. So
It
it
get
was
over
really
time.
like,
Yes.
yeah, it was for me, it was used to in the morning, I used to choose one positive thought and write it over and over and over again. And then when I
Mm,
started to kind of believe it and feel a little shift in my body, I was like, okay, all right, that was that today. And so it was like every day I practiced, but it was very easy to go back to the negative. Then it was
it
like
is.
over time, then it was like, okay, I can say the or let's say I think the negative and I can turn it around quicker because I used to
Hmm.
not be able to turn it around. I was just
Yeah.
like, it was just like a rote, thing, a mantra that I was saying over and over again. And then it became easier
Yeah.
to flip it because it was like, oh, wait, so my worth and my desirability or my confidence isn't attached. I'm just having an observation about my body that isn't true. So how do I turn this around?
Mhm,
And then all of
mhm.
a sudden, that turnaround became automatic, whereas it's like
Yes,
a language. You're learning a foreign
yes.
language. You're still thinking in English as you're trying to speak in French. And at some point, all of a sudden, you're thinking in French and you're like, oh my
Mhm.
God. And so I think that that's the same process. It just
I
takes that
agree.
practice and that comfortability and detaching your worth or anything, your confidence from the thought. And then all of a sudden you practice it enough and you're like, oh my God, I'm thinking in French. That's so exciting.
Mm,
That's
mhm.
kind of
I
what
agree.
was for me, where it was like
Yeah,
literally work until it was just fluent and it
right.
was so freeing and it felt like a huge weight was lifted off.
Yeah.
It was lovely.
Yeah, and then the other thing I wanna speak to that you mentioned is so many women, when it comes to being naked, so many women struggle or well, naked or not, so many women struggle with hating a specific part of their body, and I feel like for a lot of women, it is that womb space, whether you've had a baby or not. So many women struggle with that womb space, and I
Really? You know
oh,
what?
yeah.
I didn't think it was anything to do with
Just
that. Would the
that
same one work?
area right above your vagina,
Mhm.
right below your belly button, that womb space, and I
Yeah.
once had a shamanic healer tell me, "That's where you need to practice self-love." We need to love that womb space.
Mhm.
Again, whether you've had kids or not, because that womb space, that once you were once in your grandma's womb when your grandma was carrying your mom, and, like, that that womb space is so powerful. It's been carrying women for generations, and if we can love on that space, that love is getting passed on to that next generation that gets carried in there, and the one after that that's also carried and it's like that's where generational trauma gets stored, is in that womb space. And so if we can just love that part of ourselves more and more, and I think it is hard in the bedroom when you're, getting naked, starting like some foreplay, and then you look down and you're like, oh, that pooch. You know what I mean? But like, can we love that pooch some? Like, does it have to be a bad thing? Can you reframe how you're looking at, like, especially if you've had kids, can you look down at that and be like, that pooch is there because I birthed three beautiful children, or, whatever it might be. That scar is there because I did X, Y, and Z, whatever it might be. If we can give some love to that part of the body that I feel like we typically are so hard on, that
Mhm.
could just shift so much in the bedroom, across the board though, I just feel
I
that.
love that you even brought that perspective to it because for
Yeah,
me, it was more like it's kind of inevitable. Women are meant to be curvy. We've got the curve in our back
totally.
and then our bum and we don't have a flat stomach. That's not how
No,
we are
but we're not
anatomically.
supposed to.
No, you're supposed to have that gentle curve and then
Yeah,
your vulva and I mean,
yeah,
it's just like your back, your buns, your tummy, your vulva. Like we are
yeah,
very curvy, the boobs, the
yes,
shoulder, like we are curvy.
yeah,
And when I used to teach dance, I'd be like, we want to accentuate those curves. I want you to
yep.
change your posture so you're creating more curves. We're
Beautiful.
curvy. We're beautiful. We're
Yes.
smooth and sexy. Like
Yeah.
I thought of it that way. And then when you were talking
Okay.
about the womb wound, I was like,
The
wait
womb.
a second. When you think about body limit lineage, like you said
Yeah.
something about the
Yeah.
carrying the trauma, a
Yeah.
lot of times our body thoughts about ourselves are carried through generations.
Yes,
Even
they
if we
are.
didn't know that they were, there's like a
Yep.
body lineage. I
Yep.
was
They
listening
are.
to Glennon Doyle and
Yeah.
sister Abby's podcast, and they had someone on, and she said body lineage, and I thought, oh, that makes so much sense. Like
Yeah, it does.
my paternal grandmother was always talking about her weight.
Yeah.
My mom was concerned about her weight, and then I ended up with an eating disorder.
Mhm.
And I didn't even know all that until
Yeah.
I got older and started to realize that it really is generational,
It
but
is.
I didn't even put it together in more of a, dare I say, woo-woo way, but it was I
Yeah.
like that thinking of it that way. That's
Yeah.
really
And you know what? Speaking to the whole like, let's honor the curves that you were
mhm.
just talking to,
Yeah.
I just want listeners to hear this. You guys, for those of you that think like it's supposed to be flat, you know who put that thought in your head? Hollywood, society, teen magazines, you name it.
Photoshop.
Yeah. That's where that thought stems from, not from your parents. I mean, more often than not, it comes from Hollywood movies,
Mhm.
Photoshop and magazines. It's so unnatural for it to be curvy boobs, flat, flat, flat vagina. That's so unnatural.
Well,
Okay.
even your vulva has a curve. I mean,
Right.
we are
Right.
curvy.
Yeah.
Stephanie, dare I say, whenever have you gotten naked and someone's like, "Yeah, I can't do this." I mean, it
We're
reminds me
never.
of that Eat, Pray, Love scene where that
Mhm.
girl was like, "Oh, I picked up to some weight." And she's like, "Have you ever been intimate with a man?" And he would walked out. And
Yeah.
I think about that a lot because a lot of women, they're like, "Well, I should have a flat stomach or I shouldn't have any cellulite or I wish my boobs weren't as saggy." Do you not think that sometimes I look in the mirror and I go and I do my little lift and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, well,"
Yeah.
because they could sit up a little higher and they don't,
Right.
And
Right.
again, who says they have to? Because this is my body. It is what it is. I've had saggy boobs since I was a teenager. I never was the perky girl.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
me. And I've learned to be okay with that. I wasn't always okay with it, but it really the
Right.
standards that you have set, I wanted to ask you, says who? Who said that that's
Mhm.
supposed to be what you look like? Who said? And it goes back to even okay, yeah, like for instance, I always tell the story. I remember his name even and what I was wearing, and I was sitting at the desk in third grade when some kid came up to me and he looked over. He goes, "You have fat thighs." I carried
Great.
word grade, and I carried that for years. And even my mom would tease me. She'd be like, "You still remember that shit?" And I said, "It stuck
It
with me."
sticks with
And
you.
then you get older, and I dated a guy when I was 28, and he's like, "Your hamstrings are the hottest thing about you." And I was like,
Mm.
"Seriously?" So he liked
Wow.
that I had more muscular thighs. Another paradigm shift. And it was like, I've been holding on to someone else's opinion all these years. So that's
Yeah.
why I really invite a woman who's getting naked and critiquing. One, says who, and two, your partner is not in love with you because you have a flat stomach or not.
Mm-mm.
I like
Mm-mm.
even women that try to get super skinny for their weddings. I'm like, why? Your
Yeah.
husband asked you to marry him as you are, and now
Yeah.
you're trying to change it for what? I don't understand why you're putting yourself through all this torture when you're
I
perfectly
agree.
gorgeous and he loves you and wants to have sex with you as you are right now. I just,
But you know
um,
what they should do for their husbands in preparation for the wedding day is learn how to love themselves. That would be the best gift.
and Stephanie, give a lap dance because I would love to teach you
Mm.
how to give a lap dance.
Yeah. I actually think that's a good niche is like brides and their bridal parties coming to you for like a workshop. Like
Yeah. Yeah, that
that
would
could be
actually be awesome,
fun.
like a body confidence slash lap dance, workshop.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. That would be so fun. Yeah.
Funny story. Okay, so years ago, I I was still teaching, I was going to school full time, and I was dancing at this strip club in Minneapolis, and I was upstairs in the VIP level on this little stage, and I'm dancing away, and this guy comes over and he starts tipping me, and he goes, "You're my wife's pole dance instructor." And I was like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Where is she?" I look over, and he goes, "Right there, that's my wife." And I said, "Sir, she's making out with another guy." And he goes, "Oh, I know, we're swingers, we're all swingers." And I'm like,
Funny.
"Okay, great." Well,
Yeah.
I say all that to say in preparation, the 2 couples that swing together and travel together and do all the things, they hired me to come in and teach the girls for 2 hours a lap dance, exotic dance workshop. They went to
Yeah.
the bar, they came back, and they invited me to watch the show, so the girls got all dressed up and cute in their little outfits and gave their husbands lap dances, and they're like, "Do you wanna hang out for the rest of the night?" I said, "No, I've done my job. Thanks so much for the invite, though," and I left.
Oh my
But
gosh.
it was
That's
like,
funny.
I was just out there making households happier places, Stephanie, so I'm always
Yeah.
up for a good lap dance workshop.
Oh my gosh. I love that. I love that so much. Okay. So if somebody is turned on from this conversation and like, this is the kind of coaching I need, how would you recommend? How do you want them to reach out to you?
It's easy to find me, morganbarkus.com. Now, if
Okay.
you go there, you can find my Instagram, my podcast. Your Unapologetic Life is the name of my podcast. And you can my Instagram, you can find me. I mean, so basically any way you can go to the contact page. I would say morganbarkus.com is the best way because there are multiple ways to reach out to me, however you prefer to chat. Some people like Instagram, some people like to send an email. You do you. But that's
Yeah.
the best way to
Yeah.
that is where to find me.
Okay. And if somebody is resistant and
Yes.
they're not yet there, but they're like, I want to stop hating my body, what are some initial steps they can take without working with you
Yeah.
that could at least start moving the needle for them to loving their
Love
body?
that. Couple things. I highly recommend the book You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. That
Yes,
was my jumping off point.
yes.
You too? Yeah. I loved that book and it helped a lot.
Yeah.
I would also recommend reading Why We Get Fat because even if you're not heavy set, it is a wonderful way, or you're like, I don't really need to lose weight. It's a really, in my opinion, the best book I ever read to really break down how our body uses calories and all the things. And it was like, wow, didn't learn this in school. It was just
Right,
like, it
right.
was very, very eye opening to me. It
Okay.
really helped me eat healthier and for my body, and my body became much more efficient. I slept better, all the things. So that one was
Mm,
a big one for me. I don't want to bombard you with too many things. So read Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life.
yes.
Optional is to look into the book by Gary Taubes. I think that's his name, the Why We Get Fat. And then I would highly recommend that you take a dance class. And if
Love.
you don't know what kind of dance you even like, take a couple.
Mhm.
Grab a good girlfriend and be like, "Let's go to Zumba. Zumba's not for me. Cool. Let's try a pole dance class."
Yes.
I just think dancing, it forces you to look at yourself in the mirror
Mhm.
and watch your body move. And it forces you out of your comfort zone, which is also really helpful
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, it is.
And then lastly, I would say, girl, check what you're looking at. Because if you are on the Instagram or the TikTok or you're subscribing, I don't even know if people do magazines anymore. I do not. Whatever
No, I
you're
know.
consuming, does it make you feel good about yourself or bad about yourself? If it
Mhm.
feels bad, follow, get rid of because your
Yep.
life is not better for it. Why are you following it? I mean, it was the same with
Mhm.
that young lady I was telling you about. She's scrolling and the algorithm is telling her she needs this serum and this injection and that. I said, "Girl, unfollow that shit." Is it
Mhm.
making your life better? No. So I really think a part of taking care of yourself and your mind is to not fill your mind with
Yeah.
all the don't make you feel
Yeah.
good. If it make you
Yep.
feel good, no, get rid of it.
Yeah. Even your support circle, if every time you have a girls' night, majority of the
Yes.
conversation stems around bad mouthing our bodies. Is that the person you want to become? I mean, in the beginning, when I was first married, I swore I did not want to be friends with other women who were constantly bad mouthing their husbands because I did not want to be that kind of a wife. And I always told my husband, what I say about you behind closed doors is what I will say to your face. So we're not out. I don't want to be around other women who are bashing their husbands. That's just not the energy I want to bring into my life or marriage. And
Yes.
it's the same with your bodies. Like if you're constantly around women who are talking negatively about their body, you're just going to be doing the same thing. That's what you're going to turn into if you aren't already. So being mindful about that, it's no different than what you're consuming. You're going to become most like the 5 people you spend most time around. So
I was just thinking
assess
that's
that. Yeah, just assess your circle. It doesn't mean you have to change it, but maybe have a conversation with your girlfriends like, what if we stopped this? What would that feel like? Like, challenge each other, okay? Consider that. I mean, I'm not saying you have to change who you spend time around, but no,
I
those are
agree
really
with that.
great.
I agree with that because you can even I was thinking about someone I spoke to recently, and I said, I really am wanting to call in the one, and if I'm
Yeah.
going to do that, I can't have negative like, I need
Mm,
to focus on the fact that there is a good man in the universe.
yes.
There's a lot of terrible ones. I don't want that energy. I'm not gonna focus on that.
Agreed.
And that's for me. You can do
Yes.
you. I'm just letting you know where I'm at and the kind of things
Yes.
that I want in my and it was like, so it's
Yep.
really having that conversation, what's best for you,
I
like you
agree.
said, and that includes who you're following and what you're giving your attention to.
Yeah, 100% agreed. Okay, so I like to end all of my collabs with some rapid fire questions. I feel
Yeah,
like I
let's
already
go.
know some of these answers, but let's go. So they're this or that. So don't overthink it. Just what's the first one that comes to mind? Or if it's neither, say neither. Thong or boy shorts?
Commando.
Love. Oh my gosh, my college roommate and yeah, she actually got that in my head about like, have you ever tried going commando? And I thought it was the weirdest thing, but it's something.
Only wear underwear if I'm wearing a short dress. And even then I may or may not. Because I have a dress that had these, like, side cutouts that I wore to a wedding, and I was like, "Well, I can't wear panties with this because 'cause they're gonna see the panties," and I was like, "Well,
Mhm.
on commando in this dress."
Yeah, and it's actually really good for your vagina to let it air
Yeah,
out. Yeah,
girl, that's why
really
go to the
good.
nude beach, give her some
Yep.
vitamin D and the different
Mhm.
vitamin D.
That's a real thing. Yeah. Okay. I did not know that. I thought for sure you were gonna say thong. Self-help book or smut book?
Self-help.
Was not expecting that. Okay.
I will
But
say I will say smut book for leisure, and I'll tell you what, if your listeners wanna learn how to talk dirty, reading romance novels are a perfect way because the authors
yes.
know how to say things without being super blatant all the time.
Yep.
So they'll be like, and then his length did the, and they're like, well, I know they're talking about his penis, but
Right.
his warm length or hard length, and you're like, oh, well, that's a different way to say it. So
Right.
it helps. It helped me learn how to talk to a partner in a very different way, erotic way,
Yeah.
and I was like, and if I'm gonna sit down and read, I usually read self-help books because 'cause I'm just this
Same.
constant, I wanna
Yes.
learn a
Consuming that. Yeah. I'm the same way. Bikini or one piece or nude.
bikini. Well, yeah,
Interesting.
well, nude, obviously, but if I do have to go to a pool or beach or what have you, I like a bikini because you can mix and match tops and
Agreed.
it's fun.
Yeah, I totally agree. Favorite foreplay technique?
Girl. I love to get undressed in front of a partner. So I like to sit him down, spread his legs, and stand in front of him and slowly take off clothes and touch on myself and make him
Love.
watch. That's my favorite.
Okay, I love that. All right, night owl or morning person?
Morning, girl. I'm up
Ugh,
early.
gosh, we're not the same in that way. All right, night in or night out on the town?
Okay. Are we going to dinner and back at a reasonable hour or we're like partying all night?
I get it. Now that I'm a parent, when 8 p.m. hits, I'm like, I want to go home. Please take
Stephanie,
me home.
I love to get dressed up and go to a posh
Same.
restaurant and,
Yes.
and then have some good food. But as soon as I eat, it's like, well, now it's time to go home, get naked, and go to bed.
Yeah,
So,
game is over. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep, I'm the same way. Yep, we're definitely similar.
Yeah.
Appetizers or dessert?
Dessert.
Hmm. I have a sweet tooth, so I get that. And beach vacation or mountain resort?
Each.
Yeah, same. Oh, yeah, we're very similar. Love it.
Yeah.
Morgan, I so appreciate you agreeing to come on to this. I knew the first time you made your appearance in one of our MCM calls, I literally had to download that this girl has to come on my podcast. And then it was like when I saw that like Lori or Chris, one of them recognized you, and I was like, oh, she's somebody. Cause they knew you, like they knew of you. And I was like, okay, now she really has to go on my podcast.
Appreciate you saying that. That's only because I knew Chris and Lori when I lived in Minnesota and they lived in Minnesota. We weren't in the same circle, but we were in each other's ecosystem to a degree.
Cool.
And then I was in touch with Chris multiple times about his mastermind, and I wasn't making enough money to get into the mastermind at the time, and so it was bucket list for me. And so
Totally.
they knew when I joined, they were like, "Oh, wow, long time no see."
Love it. Love it. Well, I just appreciate you agreeing to this. And the episode's going to air early summer, just perfect time for beach swimsuit season to start. And so just thank you for gracing us with your knowledge, your expertise, your wisdom. Your story is going to hit home for so many people. And my gut has just been telling me all day today that this is going to be such a powerful and highly listened to episode. So thank you for being willing to share your story. And yeah, I just appreciate all of your wisdom being shared.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. If this resonates with you, like seriously, if this hits home for you and you are walking away from this feeling like, oh my God, this is what I needed to hear, please feel free to DM me. But more importantly, I would DM Morgan because she's your girl. If this is like really hitting home for you, that's your nudge. That's your sign. That's your synchronicity. You need to reach out to her. I'm not saying that you have to use her for a coach, but at least let her know what resonated with you, because I'm telling you, as another coach, I love hearing from listeners what hits home for people and what doesn't. It always just fills my cup knowing that my stories, my expertise hits home for at least one person. It really is such a feel good for us. So please don't hesitate if you're like, she's probably gets hundreds of DMs. I'm not going to just be another one. No, send her a DM. Don't be shy. And if you are feeling like she's speaking directly to you, then this is that nudge that you probably need to reach out to her and talk about potentially getting coaching from her. Because I'm telling you, just from the one chat her and I had, she is a powerful coach. So consider accessing her services if this is speaking directly to your soul. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't rated and reviewed the podcast, please do so. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys all next week.
Real quick before you go, I just want to thank you so much for spending a little time with me today. And congratulations on showing up for you. Every step you take to invest in yourself brings you that much closer to your next level self, and I'm so proud of you. If you loved this episode, share it with someone who could use a little inspiration, or take a screenshot and tag me on socials so we can keep spreading the next level you energy. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Let's freaking go!